Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with a review of the Cheerson CX-12. Now this is basically a quadcopter design or disguised as a little jet, and it's a little nano quad. It flies in the plus configuration, so you've got one motor going forward instead of, the X configuration where you've got two that go forward. So that's pretty unique. But basically just have this foam frame that's glued onto the quad to make it look like a jet, and the foam is a little bit fragile, it seems like especially here there's like a weak point where it wants to bend really easily, so you'll see that mine's already bent. Though even though it's creased, it seems to hold its position and doesn't want to flop down, so that's nice at least. And then these back fins are kind of weird. They're like almost feel like gummy bears or something. They're kind of this squishy foam, so they don't really hold their shape great. They're, if you're really into making sure everything's lined up perfectly, these are gonna mess with you because they kind of bend weird and crooked and stuff. But anyway, it's pretty neat little quad. Basically your standard nano quad. So you got a 100 milliamp hour battery inside there. It comes with a USB charging cable and a spare set of props. Only takes about 13 minutes to charge, but you only get about 3.5 minute long flights with a 10-second LVC warning, just because you've got all this weight on it. Not really long flight times. The transmitter is pretty much your standard nano transmitter, just like with the CX-10. You've got, let's see, left stick is your rate, so you click the left stick and you get 3 different rates, and there's only one yaw rate, and it's a little bit on the slow side, but I mean, for what it is, that's probably the way it has to be. This thing couldn't spin too fast with that big body on there. It'd probably get out of control. Right stick, you do flips and move whatever direction. However, this does not do forward flips. So if you do a forward flip, it just does a backwards flip. So up or down, both do back flips. I think just with the design of the nose, it probably doesn't want to flip forward well, but it flips backwards all right. So they only allow back or side flips. Let's see. The battery uses one of these plugs. So there's a little, where is it? Here it is. There's a little port there, and it's a pretty tight fit, so it's kind of awkward to get the charger plugged in. So I suggest, hold on to the bottom here while you plug it in to make sure you don't rip the foam body off or anything. It does have LEDs on it. Let's go ahead and turn it on. There's the on-off switch over here on the side. So we've got red in the front and back and blue on the sides, so kind of a different LED layout than usual because of this plus design. Go ahead and turn that back off. You can recalibrate it by holding the left stick down right and the right stick up left, so that's to recalibrate the accelerometer there. And so yeah, it's a pretty slow flyer. I mean, it's kind of heavy, and they probably made the flight control so it doesn't get out of control, so you're not going to be zipping this thing around like a jet, but it kind of slowly flies around. It does look kind of like a jet in the air. It's pretty neat to fly around your living room with a little jet. So pretty cool, but definitely more of a novelty than you're not going to be doing crazy stuff with this or flying for a long time. It's more just for the unique look of looking like a jet. I think that's really all there is to say about it. Let me check my notes here. Yeah, that's all there is to say, so let's go take it for a flight. Alright, this is the flight review of the Cheerson CX-12, little nano quad disguised as a jet. Pretty neat looking little thing. And it flies in the plus configuration, so a little bit different for a nano quad. And go ahead and give her a spin. So I'm just on low rates right now, so it's full pitch forward on low rates. Pretty slow. It only has one yaw rate, pretty slow yaw. Go back to high rates here. Let's there's full speed on high rates. kind of hard to go fast with that slow yaw in a small area, but this one is definitely, you know, not a speed demon. You kind of got to keep this one calm and just kind of make it look like a jet flying around instead of trying to do crazy funnels and stuff like that with it. Let's do some flips so it can roll either direction. Oh yeah, I forgot. It gives a ton of throttle before the flip. I do that every single time on the first flip. I go right into the ceiling. So we'll start low. There we go. Then go right. I don't know why it gives so much throttle. It's a little bit overkill. Do a back flip. And if you do a forward flip, it does a backwards flip. So it must not flip very well going forward with that, you know, the nose and the front. So, every time. So yeah, so they made forward and backward flips, both do back flips. But you can roll to either side. These tail fins get smashed up quite a bit and bashing into the ceiling like that. They kind of feel like a gummy foam or something, so I don't think they're gonna break. They are pretty pliable. Let's go to medium rates. Just do some flying. Looks pretty neat. But like I said, you can't really get too crazy with it. You just kind of have to keep it looking like a scale plane flight, not crazy quad flying. Pretty neat though for a nano quad. They've had micros and bigger that, you know, look like a jet wrapped around a quad, but this is the first one in the nano size. Let's do another roll. It recovers really nice from the rolls and barely loses any height. I don't really think it needs to give so much throttle before a flip. It's kind of overkill. But as long as you remember that and start them low, you don't have to worry about hitting the ceiling. Oh, there's my LVC. Looks like I showed everything there was to show anyway. Well, there we go. That's the Cheerson CX-12, and as you can see, my nose is a little floppy. That's taken a few hits, and there's only those two little points, so those get bent pretty quick. But I've crashed it around, and it hasn't broken or anything yet, so it seems like the foam's pretty durable. Alright, well, check the video description for a price and purchase link. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.